Former CIA intelligence officer Michael Scheuer went on CNN to discuss ISIS strategy, and it got ugly.
I read your blog, as you know, and it seems to me that you've presented this as an all-in or all-out proposition. I know what all-out looks like. What does all-in look like to Michael Scheuer?
All in, to me, I wrote this week, would be to take out every piece of infrastructure, hospitals, universities, irrigation systems that make it impossible for the Islamic State to raise money, to provide electricity, sanitation, potable water, do exactly what we did to the Germans. This is finally something that our military can do. It can't defeat these people on the ground, but it can destroy buildings and facilities.
But, Michael, we don't have the stomach for that. I mean, you've advocated not only going after hospitals, but also universities. Do you think that the Western world, Americans in particular, would stand by for the film footage that would be shown on CNN and elsewhere of the so-called innocent civilian death count?
Well, I don't know if they would. They should.
Oh, come on. It's fine to kill innocent civilians when they're not Americans. And then he said, and we're defending ourselves. No, but you just said kill the innocent civilians. So you're not defending yourself. They're innocent civilians. You just said it. So, well, they're not Americans. So what does it mean? Oh, my God, man. He said take out infrastructure, hospitals, universities, irrigation, sanitation, and everything. Guys, but understand this is not a conventional enemy. As we've discussed a trillion times, if you can't see that, you're fucking blind at this point. ISIS has swept into certain parts of Iraq, certain parts of Syria, and they take over places that are civilian populations, and they say, all right, we're the new government here. So people are there that have never done an act of terrorism, have never been violent against anybody. Now, they may have some beliefs that you and I hate, and rightly, and they're ultra-conservative compared to your average person in the West. Fine, understandable, but so you want to kill them because they happen to be in the wrong place at the wrong time and they were overtaken by ISIS. So you want to kill civilians, innocent civilians, because you're so convinced we're the good guy. But then wait a second, I thought actions are what matters in this world. So if the act of killing an innocent civilian is wrong, then why isn't it wrong when we do it just as much so as it's wrong when ISIS does it, just as much as it's wrong if Vladimir Putin does it, just as much as it's wrong if anybody does it? No, but see, this is why this way of thinking is so perverse, is that people have actually convinced themselves, no, when we do it, it's okay, because we mean well. No, but you just said kill innocent civilians. So what if I were to tell you that that act in and of itself is immoral and wrong and unjustified, and that makes you a bad guy? That makes you a terrorist. If you're saying I'm cool with killing innocent civilians, well, so is ISIS. You have something where you agree with them. And you say, well, my philosophy, which backs it up, is better than their philosophy of backing it up. Well, that's an interesting thing that you can share with an Iraqi grandma who you just blew into smithereens. That's an interesting thing to share with toddlers and women and children and people who never did anything wrong and they just happen to be born in the wrong place at the wrong time. No, again, beliefs are vitally important. Absolutely nobody would deny that. But actions are more important because somebody could be a racist, but we don't throw them in jail if they're just a racist. We disagree with you, we hate it, but you're a racist. It becomes against the law if you take your racist beliefs and then you go on to lynch somebody and kill somebody. That's when it's a problem. So you, Michael Scheuer, you don't have to like anybody in the Middle East. You could hate all the civilians, you could hate all the Muslims, whatever. But it becomes a crime, a war crime, and you become a grotesque moral abomination when you say, no, I'm going to now take that and just kill everybody because they happen to be in a place where ISIS came in and took over. We have to realize that this is going to give ISIS their best recruitment tool. Let's say we did this. I mean, everybody in the world is going to turn against the U.S. because then they'd be able to say, no, you don't, who the fuck are you? You don't have any moral high ground at all. And unfortunately, we're already at that point in many respects because we tortured so many innocent people. We did hypothermia torture, anal rape, among other things. We invaded the wrong country and ended up killing hundreds of thousands of civilians. we're still engaged in military conflicts in 7 different countries. But this would make it so that, oh my God, wave the white flag. There's no more debate. There's no more conversation. I don't want to pick sides in a world where everybody agrees you kill civilians if you feel like you have to. Well, every petty dictator ever, every ideological grotesque group, whether it's jihadist or otherwise, has always said, when we do it, it's different. No, it's not different when any of you do it. Bright moral red lines. You never kill innocent civilians, ever. You should be targeted in the way that you fight against evil, against bad groups. Doesn't mean you're a pacifist. Doesn't mean you never respond under any circumstances. That's a caricature of what I believe and what the majority of liberals believe. What we believe is you're targeted, you're specific, you're precise in your response, and you're intelligent in your response. You don't use the exact same tactics of the terrorists and then say, but when we do it, it's better. No. If when they do it, they're terrorists, it's also the case when you do it, you're a terrorist.